Hi, I'm Jackie and welcome to Squid Ink. Today, what we're going to draw is, I am pulling out my brand new sketchbook. It's my last one full. This is a Strathmore Vision Mixed Media sketchbook. It's very fancy. I actually quite like this one. It holds all my mediums that I want to throw at my sketchbook very well. So I really like this one so far. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today, I'm going to go ahead and start painting one of my characters. I drew up a couple little thumbnails of her. Her name's Winnie. And I had really wanted to watercolor her. So I'm pulling out I believe this was the Universal Mixed Media paper. It was on screen. I think that's what it was. But after a couple of nails, I decided kind of what I wanted to do. This sort of flowy-ish, head looking down sort of pose. And so I started sketching that. I actually used a blue color erase pencil because I thought that would kind of be cool under the watercolors. So I just go ahead, I sketch in a kind of basic body. I'm pretty happy with it right off the bat. Then I just add in start adding clothing details in her hair. And at this point in time, she had this big bang piece that covered up half her face. And I said here she's kind of supposed to be looking down. It didn't really end up looking like her head was turned down, but it kind of just looked like, it looks like she's looking down, like with her eyes looking downwards. But it doesn't really look like her head's turned down entirely. But here's another sketch I did of her, which I'm referencing for her outfit. And she has this cute little heart cut out on the one side. It's pretty adorable. So I just finished adding all details. I darken up all my lines and everything. And go through, make sure I have everything all, how I want it. It looks nice. And this is one of those paints, I think, one of these little pieces of art that I think look pretty good in sketch. But I actually got better when I added color. So I'm playing on my watercolor palettes. I'm doing a couple swatches. The watercolor palettes I'm using is a Koi, I think it's a Sakura Koi watercolor palette, the 24 pack, and I'm using some Daniel Smith in the tubes. So those are the watercolors I'm using today. I'm gonna start by a lot of water onto her hair, and I'm coloring her hair. It's kind of supposed to be this gray brown sort of color. This dull, sort of dusty brown idea is supposed to be your hair color. I don't know if this is pretty close to how I always see it, but it's not. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's there yet. Well, it's pretty close to how I think it should be, but it's not quite there yet. But I go and I add in a little bit more variation to hair by adding just a little bit of a darker version of the color to other bits of the hair. I leave spots for a shiny through her hair. And I just go through and mix it more up, and I just keep adding in more shinies. More shinies now. I add in more dark parts to the hair to give it some more contrast. And then after I do let that dry, I'm going to start in and do her skin. Once again, I'm adding in a layer of water. And then I just go and I have a little skin tone mixed up, which I add in. Hello? Yeah, there it is. There's skin tone. I have a little skin tone all mixed up. And I put that in. She kind of has a little pale-ish sort of skin. And pretty fair skin, I would say. So I color all that in. There's not very much skin. There's just one little heart cut out and her face and her neck. And that's all the skin that's really showing in this piece. So I go through. I do that. I try to make it pretty even. You see, I'm trying not to add in too much color so it doesn't just whoosh everywhere. And make her skin tone super duper sploochy and uneven. Right, like that I did there. So I'm just trying to I'm patting it off with my little watercolor brush. Which, by the way, these are actually Robert Simmons watercolor brushes. I really like them, one of my favorites. I'm going for adding some blush on her skin, and I'm adding just a little red blush on her nose and her cheek. And I add in a little bit of shadows underneath her hair and stuff, give it some depth, under her chin, of course. And I add in some little lipstick, which is very cute and nice. Yes. And of course, Gus is here. He's always here to help narrate. I add a little shadow and a little heart cutout. I actually really like the way that looks. The little shadow on the heart cutout. I think that turned out really nice. And then I'm starting and doing her shirt. I sort of use this her shirt is very bright red, but I'm starting off lighter. I'm using this I'm sort of making it a little lighter so I can have bits that are shinier or supposed to be more light so they can appear lighter. right. That's what I'm going for. I'm adding a couple more deeper shadows on her face, and I'm adding in some eyeshadow. I know that kind of match her shirt to be cute and fantastic. I'm adding in even more deeper shadows onto her hair. Because, you know, I'm really trying to play a style that's very layering up everything with this sort of one, is what I believe I was doing. I think I'd watched a lot of watercolor videos. I'd seen everybody just like layer and layer and layer and get all the depth in there. And I was kind of inspired by all those videos that I've been watching. So I tried to do a similar thing to that and sort of bring that into my process. So that's kind of what I did. After that was all dried, because I have to dry between every layer. Because, you know, there's not one piece that's not touching a different piece. You know what I'm saying? So then I'm just going in. I'm making her shirt the bright red color that's supposed to be. And I'm leaving a couple spots uncolored. So that way there's like, oh, it's brighter there. I see there's like 2 spots on her shoulder I left. And then I'm going to go in. I'm adding in like a basis for like some shadows on her shirt. Some super deep shadows, or just some in general color gradients, I guess. Color variations, color gradients on her shirt. Like there's that one little spot on her shoulder, which is kind of supposed to be like where the seam is. So I added in a little color variation there. And shadows under her chest and around the little heart cutout. I don't know why there's some on the outside of the heart cutout, but you know what, there is. Add some in all the little wrinkles and crud. And now I'm going to go ahead and even make these shadows even deeper where I think they should be. I don't think all of them did. No, I don't think all of them, these little color variations whatnot, get deeper. I just make all the ones that should be in a darker shadow. Darker to make it pop a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So that means all the little crevices, all the things that are just a little pushed a little further back, I kind of color in. And yeah, and all the things under her hair. This actually looks really pretty good. This was a pretty fun painting to work on. I really enjoyed the process of this. And I think it turned out really nice. I actually have this one hanging on my wall because I really liked it. So, yeah, this turned out really good. Up and a little more shadow to the heart, cutout thing. A little more shadow under the chin. Just try to push that a little bit more than what I already had. So, yeah, look, this is turning out great. And I, once again, doing a little more shadow. This arm looks a little weird, the one I was working on right there. I think it's her right, our left. It looks a little weird. Oh, and I go in and I add even more blush. Because I was like, well, it's not bright enough. But I think I made it too bright. It's a little too bright, I think. That's the only thing about this painting. I'm like, wow, I wish I didn't do that. It's the blush. It's a little too strong now, I think. But you know, it is what it is. It's just a little wow. It's like the most eye-catching thing. It's like kind of competing. You know what I'm saying? It's a little weird. And of course, with the smallest brush ever, I proceed to color in the background. And I don't know why I use this paintbrush to do this with, because I have bigger paintbrushes, but I chose not to do it. But I kind of make the background like this light-ish green color. Because, you know, green and red are complementary colors. So I made this super pale little sort of sagey green color. So that way it won't be Christmassy, but sort of blend in. And I decided that these little super light red spots are a little too out there. So I went over them. And I'm struggling here a little bit, but I went over them just a little bit to try to blend them in a bit. And I also fixed up her arm that I said looked weird. I added more shadow right there to make it look like that was her arm just pushed back. So now it looks right. And I just blend everything together, get it to be in. I fixed up this arm. I was struggling really hard with this arm. Very much so. I don't know what it was about. It was just, there's something about it. And at this point, I decided I think I'm all done painting. So I'm going to just take off all the tape. And can I just say that this paper held up really well to how much watercolor I used? Because you can see when I did the background, it was really buckling hard. But it's just like completely went flat again. It's really quite impressive. Now I'm taking this Derwent colored pencil. I believe it's in one of the dark brown shades. And I'm going to do like some line art around her. And just get it a little more depth. Because it still looks incomplete to me. And I was going to leave it just lineless. But I was like, no, it's not done. And I was like, well, I don't want the liner to be too strong, so I did the pencil. And I think that really kind of brought it all together. So I go through and add in a little bit of shinies. Just a couple little shinies everywhere to finish it off completely in the hair and the eyes, and I sign it, and that's it. It's done, and I'm actually really happy with this one. I think it turned out great. But I hope you'll have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!